phone in association with Lee Spirit and Matty, and I think we've got quite a lot to get through tonight, so we're probably going to just get stuck right into it. So we've got last minute capitulation in Dundee, and we've got a derby to look forward to, and there was quite a lot of anger about the stewardship of the club as well. So, Joe, I think, in fact, actually, Jack, you were first. Joe's top left on the screen, so I'm going to come to Joe first. Joe, how are you, and where do you want to kick us off tonight?
Well, just kick us off with all the bad nonsense that went on after the game. We lost 3-2, but had Neil not got sent off with 10 minutes to go or whatever, I think it would have been a different result. And I think a lot of the criticism on our manager is a wee bit harsh, to say the least. Okay, we've Hibsed it in quite a few games this season so far, but I think if he sticks to the core of the team that he's already got, they need time. So that's where I'm coming from. I think a lot of the criticism has been harsh. He needs to make a couple of changes, but we can come on to that later on in the blog just now.
So what do you think is going wrong then, Joe? Obviously, we've got these sort of rush of blood to the head moments with the Chantis last week and or the week before, and Newell this week at Dundee United.
I think that the biggest problem of all is the goalkeeper. He's made so many mistakes now, and the goalkeeper inspires confidence or not in the defence. And I think Bursick's had his day. I mean, I can't see him changing him for Sunday, but basically he's got to stick with him for a game or two longer, but it doesn't look good.
Do you think that? I mean, I totally agree with you. Like, if you've got a defence that's got confidence in the goalkeeper, that is like a great starting point. If you look at the third goal that we concede on Saturday, is that maybe symptomatic of a goalkeeper that doesn't have confidence in his central defenders?
I think it was just crap goalkeeping, to be honest with you, Matty. Yeah. I really do. Just quite. It was. He was left between the devil and the deep blue sea. Just hopeless. But I mean, they don't seem to have any confidence in the reserve goalkeeper that's got a 3-year contract with us, which is weird. Okay, he had one crap game against Kelty, but I mean, goodness sake, you're going to have to give the boy a chance. If Bursick, I don't see him changing Bursick before Sunday, but another howler, he's got to be shifted and given a rest.
Like his third goal reminded me, I can't remember the game, it was a derby, it was Zibby came out for one. I think we were 2-0 up at the time, and we ended up drawing the game, I think, if not losing. But I think it was a draw. And
you actually called it Zibby-esque.
Yeah. It was Zibby-esque. So do you think then, Joe, that we're almost there? We're maybe not like a million miles away?
I don't think we're a million miles away. I mean, I think you keep your back two. In fact, I would go with the back three. I'd play 3-5-2. That's what I would do. I would bring in, what's his name?
What's he do?
Yeah, Iredale.
Yeah, so he looked quite good, didn't he? Iredale when he came on.
So have Uhura, Equiteta, and Iredale as a back three, then 5 in the middle, and then 2 up front, not just the 1.
Well, actually, that I asked everybody to remind me about Facebook. So Joe Leslie sent a message just before we came on air. He says, I have a question. I had an online discussion with some plum where he berated me for suggesting that we play 2 up top and a solid 3 of Quan, Newell and Chiantis in midfield. This plum kept asking who would be the attacking midfielder out of the 3. He stated that Newell could not play the 10 position. I had to correct him on multiple occasions that playing those 3 together in centre midfield would not require an attacking midfielder, because whoever out of the 3 was in a more advanced position at a specific point would just naturally move further up the pitch, leaving one or both of the remaining sitting into cover. In my opinion, we would not need an attacking midfielder, nor would we need a number 10 because of the fluidity that we briefly saw from the 3 of them in. I think the only time all 3 have been on the pitch at the same time. Sorry, it's a bit long-winded. Clarity counts. Can you ask the folks participating in the phone in their opinion on this?
Well, can I quickly say, number 10, I would give Levitt a chance. Hibs have played him as a number 6 or a number 8 in the games he's played. I think it might sound outrageous, but I would give Levitt a chance. I mean, he's had a good career before he came to Easter Road. I would give him a chance at number 10.
And you think the 2 at the top is answered?
Yeah, definitely. But I would drop our current centre forward, and I'd have Gale and Hoylett up front, up to.
Interesting. Ian, you're nodding away there. What are your thoughts on everything?
I agree there with Joe. I mean, the Kukarevich to me didn't perform well at all. I mean, just on the match itself, then, I mean, it was a tremendous atmosphere. I mean, we 2,200 supporters with both the stands. And I rewatched the game on Hibs TV, and we started really well with Miller, Cadden, and Rudy combining well, and they were giving goes up the right wing.
Mm-hmm.
And although Rudy appeared to start well, he actually lost the ball, which led to Joe's booking. He then didn't come for the 1-2 with Miller, which led to us losing the ball. And of course, he then lost the ball, which led to the goal. And then he gave up running after Middleton after 10 yards. As Colin said on Sunday, after Rudy lost the ball, and it was clear that Miller didn't have the legs to catch Middleton, nobody came across. Like, Rudy pulled up after 10 yards, and Marvin stayed at front post at the edge of the 6-yard box and did nothing. I mean, we actually scored 2 excellent goals, and it was great because it looked like the one that Miller set up with his header was planned, as he actually set another one up doing the same thing. And it was a great feeling to be winning so near the end of the game. And the whole crowd singing David Gray, David Gray. I mean, we sang it for ages, and we were dominating the game. We were dominating the game before the red card. So the only thing, I saw the late subs as being a mistake, because Josh and Dylan were warming up, and they were ready to go before Joe was sent off. But then David Gray still made the same changes, and he didn't take into account that we were a man down then. So these guys were standing on the sidelines waiting to go on. So we ended up with Boyle, of course, trying to play right back, and Rocky was actually on the bench. But the main problem I see, and we were chatting about this before we went on air, but the main problem I see is with our support. So my son is, is a coach, and he stopped going to Easter Road because of the shite he heard from supporters, each week in the East Stand. And at Tannadice, the guy behind me, right from the start of the game, just moaned non-stop, and he booed the team. And actually, and it was funny because, what we're saying is none of us boo the team, but not only that, he actually booed individual players when they got the ball. I've never heard that before. So as you would expect, he was then absolutely devastated when we went ahead. And then, but his day was made when we lost, and he just booed and moaned and swore non-stop. And my son lives in Dundee, and I went back to his house afterwards, and he said he doesn't understand how I can put up with that type of person. And with that sort of blame culture, which is what Joe was talking about there, the supporters. So, I mean, overall, I thought Marvin Ekpateta was really good. We didn't use Boyle enough when he came on, and both Rudy and Kukarevich were completely ineffective. As Joe said, they need time on, Kukarevich needs time on the bench, and I would argue Rudy does too. But overall, it was great to see how devastated Quan was at the end. He was on the ground with his head in his hands, and I think that can only bode well for us. That whole it was tremendous seeing that. He was devastated. So I enjoyed the game enormously, but obviously the result was hellish. But I actually think we are doing well. I mean, I've been all the games, and to me, we're improving all the time.
Okay, Jeff, you put your hand up.
Say again?
I just said Jeff's got his hand up, so let's bring Jeff in.
Yeah, just to expand on a few points Ian just made. Yeah, it was in particular Miller. He made one mistake or let the ball slip under his foot early doors, and from then on, every time he got the ball or did something with it, fans, I call them fans, but they're not really fans, were booing him. Individual players, I mean, what the fuck is going on? I think that's going to make him play better. We're saying that to support the team. Do not boo individual players after one mistake. It's the first half. I mean, he went off at half-time. He looked a bit leggy to me. He was never going to catch Middleton, as Ian said. And I noticed that Rudy, after chasing 10 yards, stopped. And no one else was busting a gut to get back. So for a young lad, I hope David Gray's taking him aside and had a wee word with him, saying, that's unacceptable. You bust a gut and get back in the box. But yeah, the negative experience from some of the fans is ruining it for the majority. Well, not ruining it, but it takes the edge off the day. Even when we're winning 2-1, the shite.
I always think it's dead counterproductive, isn't it? Like I don't recall anybody. I mean, there will be exceptions, right? But there's not many folk react positively to that sort of attention for folk. I remember. Do you remember we played? We knocked Hearts at the Scottish Cup the season after they beat us. Witherspoon scored.
Yeah.
I used to sit in the West Lower, right, sort of towards the away end, and we were down there. And there was a guy along for us who berated Witherspoon from start to finish in that game, and refused to cheer when the goal went in. I mean, it's a goal in a derby to knock them out the fucking Scottish Cup, you know. And he stood with his arms crossed rather than fucking concede that Witherspoon had. Fair enough, it took a deflection and that, but he scored it.
Yeah. I know Miller splits the fan base. One of those players. I like him. He's rough at the edges, but he's got a hell of a lot going forward. Defensively, when he first came in, nobody got past him. If you remember, played Celtic Rangers, he was outstanding. So he's got it in him. Saturday was not his best game, I'll say that. But somebody explained to me how Boone, a player, your own team is helping your team. You're supporting your team. And just going back to that, instead of having a standing singing section, you're going to get a booing section. So sit all them fuckers at the other end of the ground away from me, please. Because we'll end up having words with one or two of them. You know, it's going to get that bad.
I'll come back to you. There was also David Gray in his press conference and his wee Hibs TV interview before we came on, and he was talking about the players sort of kind of coming in to training at the start of the week and taking matters into their own hands with some home truths to each other. You a fan of that approach?
Oh, definitely. I mean, sorry, can I just question what Callum's drinking? Because I've got Callum's drinking beer. Oh, what you got? Oh, really good.
Well, hold on. If we're all showing off, then I've got the Iron Brew.
I think, as anyone who's coached knows, right? At the end of the game, there's nothing much to say at the end of the game. All you say is you ask the players. You say to the players, well, how did we do, right? And then, of course, you can actually. The most important thing is when you fuck up a game like that, is you can't react to it by coaching, right? You can't actually coach the things. All right, okay, we'll just try some chip balls into the box to see if we can improve on that. You never do that because the players get really confused if you end up changing what you're doing. I mean, I think you made the point, Matty. You actually asked the question. I think it was on Sunday. You said, "How do you coach that? How do you coach people coming for the ball, right? Instead of standing waiting for it?" You were talking about in the box, Matty. You said, "How do you coach that?" Well, there is a way of coaching it, and you can do that. But getting players to take responsibility for it, I think, is absolutely the way to do it. It's a mature way to do it. It'll get the head coach respect, and I think it's very, I think it's the right approach for it.
Jack, what were your thoughts on the game on Saturday, mate?
It was all right. I mean, apart from the red card, but there's a lot of mistakes there to talk about a wee bit.
What did you think of the red card? Harsh or justified? Or
looking at the highlights, I wouldn't say it was a red.
But it was effectively a second yellow.
Yeah, aye. I mean, the yellow card incident, I wouldn't say that was a yellow card either. Like, just looking at how that was talked about.
Mm-hmm. Are you talking about the first one where he's
the first one,
in the middle, Tim? I could see why it was given. I don't know what everybody else thinks. With Muir's two bookings, his first one, he stopped the attack, really, isn't he? Middle, although I think watching it again, I think Middleton's maybe knocked the ball out of play before.
Yeah.
Rather than getting it up the line.
Yeah.
The second one, I thought was a yellow card all day long.
But can you get booked for not touching somebody? Can you get booked for that?
It's irrespective of contact. You can still get booked for it.
The amount of changes.
Jinx.
It's ridiculous, eh? What's the world come to? Still just know what it used to be. Extra. So, and how do you think Hibs were doing, Jack? They're up to the red card. How did you think?
They played well in the first half. Yeah, like they looked a really good side, and it was a good atmosphere as well.
What was it about the performance that was working for you?
Well, I mean, can't remember how to describe it, but I mean, they did look like they wanted to win the game in the first half.
Do you think if we'd stayed 11v11 that the result would have been different, Jack? Or do you
Yeah, I
think
think we
Hibs'
would.
tendency to...
I think we would have hung on. Yeah, like 50-50 chance we would have hung on. Just depends how it went. I wouldn't say the third goal would have went in if it was 11v11.
What do you think Hibs' situation just now then, Jack? Obviously sitting at the bottom of the league, there's a lot of anger amongst the fan base, etc. What do you think of it all?
Well, after Saturday's defeat, there was a post that came out on Hibs supporters group about Ben Kenzel and that to go. We want our club back, so there was that as well. And then there was like, if David Gray was to get punted, then if David Gray was to go, then there'd be protests outside as well to get the board out, like what happened at Man United.
So I suppose like the situation at Man United is the billionaire came in and took control of the football side of things, and then it sacked Alex Ferguson as well, which I thought was a bit mad. But there you go.
I know, I was surprised at that.
Is that? Would you like to see that, Jack, or is this just something that you saw?
Well, I mean, David Gray, I respect him, but I wouldn't say that it's not working out so far. But I wouldn't say sacking the manager's the right idea. Maybe up above, yes, but not David Gray.
Good reason. And the bottom of the league, think this is a false position that Hibs are in, or are we exactly where we deserve to be?
I'd say it's a false position. With the squad we've got, I don't think we should be even in that position. We should be higher than that.
So what do you put it down to then? What do you think is going wrong that's stopping us achieving what we should be achieving?
Well, my dad says the lack of leadership, just no good communication.
How much a concern is that? Because the leadership thing was something that was like a theme through the summer when we talked about the recruitment. So
Yeah.
they mentioned O'Hara and Ekpiteta. Obviously, Joe Newell getting the captaincy. There was a lot made about Martin Boyle having to step up into this sort of leadership role. Even Josh Campbell, I think, was getting getting the chat about being at an age to be a leader. So it's obviously something that the Gray had identified as being a potential issue. Why do you think it's still lacking?
I don't know. I have no idea how to answer that one.
Fair enough. I suppose if it was easy, Gray would have answered it as well and we'd be laughing.
Exactly. I mean,
fair dues. Callum, I'll bring you in. Where do you stand on it all?
I was there on Saturday, and the kind of first half and sort of first 10 minutes of the second half was very similar to like Motherwell's and Johnston games.
Mm-hmm.
We had the ball. Team let us have it. They weren't really doing anything with it. Made the change at half time, and I thought Martin Boyle made a couple of good runs forward, and then because of Cadden's injury, kind of had to change the shape. Went to that kind of 3-5-2, and then Milotnikov kind of played off Kukarevich for the up to when Gale came on. Good positive change. Obviously, after they scored that goal that was offside, we just we just lifted and kind of went on for there, dominated the game. Where I was sitting, it didn't look like a second yellow for Newell, but seeing the replays, he knew what he was doing. He took that bad touch, and it's just a really silly moment. He didn't need to do that. And you just saw it coming. I left after the second goal, and I'm so glad I never seen the third goal because I don't think I'd have made it over the Queens for the cross. And I'm not going to lie. It's just I had commented on one of the talking points before about a lack of kind of character and leadership, and I think Colin kind of picked up on it in one of the extra time episodes. But it's as clear as day that I think Bursick wiped out Iredale twice. The first time there was no attackers around him, and that was like under no pressure or anything like that. I don't know where that came from, but some of the decision making for the most experienced players, it's baffling. Don't know where it's coming from, and see the fans that are blaming chief execs and boards and all this. They can fuck off. It's like just stick to the players on the park. We've made some really good signings in my mind, but where these mistakes are coming from, you just can't legislate for it. And we are playing. All right, we're not playing the best football, and you could argue about Milotnikov playing the 10 and giving Levitt a chance, and I think that was needed on Saturday. I'm not going to lie, Milotnikov tried, but he gave the ball away kind of time and time again. No through any effort of actually trying. Like's already been mentioned, Kukarevich, he's been struggling, but the service just hasn't been there. He's kind of running channels, looking up and then realising that nobody's in the box because he's the number 9. If you wanted the game to start your season, it's Sunday, but they're obviously on a high. They've won the night. That Spittle scored a fucking screamer. I hate to admit it, but they're going to be up for it. They're going to press the players that, like say, Critchley used to manage it. Pateta, he'll know his strengths, he'll know his weaknesses. They're going to put pressure on the goalie. Don't get me wrong, Dundee United did that on Saturday, and I thought Busick for the first 70 minutes done really, really well. They were putting the ball right on top of him for corners and crosses. He did really, really well, but I just don't know why we can't seem to put 90 minutes together or hold it together for the last 15 minutes of games, because that stat came out. It was 7-0 down in the last 15 minutes of games or something.
It's crazy, isn't it? Crazy.
Aye. So, it's worrying, and they bastards love a fucking last minute goal against us.
Aye. It happens a lot, doesn't it? Well, we'll come and talk about the derby. I'm going to bring Andy in. Andy Collins messaged in the YouTube comments. He says, "Speak to Andy before he falls asleep." And I was thinking, well, the way you're sitting is, it was whether I was going to have to paint you like one of my French girls. How are you doing? First of all, you good? I don't know, I can't hear you, Andy. You're either on mute or your mic's not working or something.
He's on mute.
So we'll get these wee technical issues sorted out.
No, he's not on mute.
No, it doesn't look like you're on mute.
Oh, he is.
You're on. Come off mute now, Andy. Let's see how we go. Nah. Well, you have a bash at fixing that. All I'll do is I'll come back to Joe. How big a problem is this goalkeeper situation then, Joe? I mean, you mentioned it right at the top of the show. How big an issue is it?
It's massive. You build from the goalkeeper out. You know, if I go back to 86 when Graham Souness took over manager of Rangers, he took the spine of the English team, starting with the English goalkeeper, then the English centre half, and so on. You build from the back. Goalkeeper is so fundamental; it's a fulcrum of the whole team. And our one's so inconsistent and flaky. I'm sorry. The trouble is, what alternatives do you have? You know, the reserve goalkeeper had one game against Kelty Hearts and a shiter. So he seems to be written off altogether, but he's on a 3-year contract. Difficult to know.
It's a strange one, the Smith signing, isn't it? Like, I mean, I think, Ian, you mentioned it the other week about, you know, preferring to play your own players ahead of the loan players, and obviously the goalkeeper situation came up. And I think the only example I could think of where a team openly sort of benched their what was their first choice goalkeeper in favour of a loan one was Arsenal with Raya, is that his name? Who then became the sort of signed him in the summer and took over.
Can you hear me now, Matt?
Yeah, I can hear you now, Andy. We'll come to you in a second, mate.
Yeah,
you have changed though. You look completely different, but we can hear you.
It's funny though, until Joe said that, I would not have said that Busick's not playing well. I really wouldn't have said that. Yeah, I wouldn't have said that.
But I thought Busick had been all right until, but I mean, he made at least two big mistakes in the game on Saturday. I suppose obviously when it's a goalkeeper, it highlights it more. Andy, we had moved on to talk about the goalkeepers, but I'll wind it back a bit just to get your thoughts for Saturday and the overall sort of situation at Hibs.
Aye, well, I think the overall situation is we're misfiring. I don't think we're playing bad football. We just can't keep the ball at the net or keep 11 players on the pitch. It's so frustrating because you can see the effort that the lads are putting in, the phases they play through from the back and going out, and the ball over the top. It's all there. Like he's not sticking to one rigid way of playing. I mean, we dominated Motherwell, we dominated Dundee United. We're on par with Rangers, so the body of the football team is there. We just can't keep. We're just making so many mistakes and so many fatal errors in the final third in our own box, and not making enough clinical, and finishing is been horrific. We're not taking the chances that we should. I mean, if you get a penalty at Ibrox, it's a sin not to score. And then the glaring header that he missed as well. I do genuinely think that Laddie needs a time on the bench. Let somebody else take up the reins. I mean, Dwight Gale looks a fox in the box. He looks like he's got a wee bit extra. I'm not going to say he's more skillful, but he's probably got a wee bit of more cultured head on him. He has been at the top end of the Premiership, so with Newcastle, so he knows where the net is. On Rudy, I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was taking the game to Dundee United at the weekend. I thought he was like a wee terrier at points. I might have been, watching a different game, but I thought he was actually really quite good. All right, we've seen that with Scott Allen. Sometimes when he come off for him, he'd try it and try it and try it again, and that's how I felt. Rudy's tenacity was coming along. All right, it didn't really work out for him, but the effort was there. Mm-hmm. But the one mistake that they did make was when they stopped, and then Miller was put under pressure after that. But as I said, it's just so frustrating because you can see that the bones are in place. They just need to click. I do think though that there is a toxic sort of atmosphere around fans forums, and it's drumming up its own momentum, and the more people that are involved in it, it is just gaining and gaining and gaining. I hate the way that some of the fans treat our football club, and obviously the discussions that go on. It's quite toxic. I mean, I understand everybody's frustration, but the blame culture is just getting so violent, and not violent but vicious. Like everybody's getting attacked, from Ron Gordon, Kensal, like the whole body of the Hibs PLC. Everybody's under attack, and it is just because we're in such a position that we can't really, there's no really a light at the tunnel until we start winning games, and that's where it's at. We win games, the pressure's off, then the atmosphere will change. The mood around the place will change. If we beat Hearts, the last 3-4 games will be forgotten about. But the probability of that happening is quite low.
It's a big if. It is like I found it quite refreshing having the conversation tonight. It's good to hear the I don't think we're a million miles away from it. I think the way that we played in the games, if you're at had balls and all the rest, like if you take those last 15 minutes of the games, or even like the last 5-10 minutes of the games, we're pretty comfortable in them. Rangers, we should have taken something. So it gives me enough belief to think that we probably would get there. And I think, I mean, we spoke about it on Extra Time on Monday about this need to let a change bed in. And the problem the Hibs board have got is that they've had so many of these changes, and then they've not worked, and they've flopped into something else, and it's got worse and worse and worse. So this time when they've asked everybody to trust them, I think loads of folk are out of trust, isn't it? Like that's sort of the problem, is that they're damned by everyone that's gone before. But you almost have to say, well, it's the first time Malky Mackay's been in. The job that he does is not an overnight win. Like a director of football, or a sporting director, the stuff that they influence isn't going to make a difference immediately. I think, like I used the analogy on Hibs.net, is like the sporting directors in charge is like you maybe identify that we need 13 spin cycles in the dressing room for the players to do a better warm up. Right, this is going to be good for the long term for the club. But you put those 13 spin cycles and you didn't win the next game 3-0. Do you know what I mean? It's like that's something that'll make a difference long term. That's Malky Mackay's job, is to look at all that sort of, no specifically spin cycles. I just picked that as an example, but that sort of thing. So you can't go after eight league games and go, we need to get rid of Malky Mackay because it's not working. It's just it seems to me like self defeating, because all that happens is if you play that out, you say sack Malky, the new guy comes in, they're also going to need a long time to embed anything. So it's also not going to work after 8 games. So you sack them and then bring some, and you just never get anywhere. So anyway, I'm waffling. This isn't about me. Ian, you had your hand up first, so I'm going to come to you, and then I'll come to Callum, and then Jeff. I need to get your thoughts on Saturday as well, because I only really heard for you to hear about the fans. So Ian, on you go.
Andy speaks a lot of sense there. If you'd asked me, and I'm glad you brought it up, if you'd asked me before Saturday's game what was the main thing we needed to work on, it would be finishing. Because I've got to agree with Andy. I mean, it's I was at Ibrox as well, and I mean, it was devastating to actually have such a crap penalty. Finishing, to me, is really, one of the things we really have to work on. We've had far too many chances we've blown away. Now, the point about Rudy is I agree with everything that Andy said there about Rudy. I love his attitude, I love his aggression, etc., etc. But he is ineffective. He's not effective, right? So he doesn't create chances, and that's the point. It's all about effectiveness. It's not how effective is a player. It's not they're a great player. How effective are they? I wanted to bring up just one more thing, which was at the end of the game. I assume people saw this, but Elian made the point of himself on his own going up to the supporters and imploring them. And I just wonder what the hell's going on there. He made the point. He was just on his own, walked right up to the supporters applauding himself. Yeah.
That's I didn't see that.
Fair play to him.
I did see the United bench and the fans and all the substitutes all running about the pitch at the end. That is disgraceful. I know emotions would have been running high for them, but to have that many people in the park, it shouldn't be happening for a start off. It might be a wee bit sour grapes because I was absolutely livid when that ball went in the top corner, but it's an overreaction. I don't know if there's any. I know somebody said there might be penalisation for United for their fans getting onto the beach and onto the pitch anyway, but doesn't give us 3 points back or even 1 point back.
3-0 defeat for your fans on the run. Hibs get the points. Happy days, right? We're off the bottom of the league. Callum, you want to come in? You get your hand up.
It was something that Andy said, and then Ian just kind of mentioned Elian as well. This kind of toxic and vicious sort of atmosphere amongst fans. There was tweets going out after the game that Elian stood for 2 minutes, and that was like 2 minutes too long. And he's passing on a message that, and just he's trying to be this and trying to be that. And then there was somebody tweeted saying the subs at half time weren't coached and they were just standing kicking a ball about and all that. And it's all bullshit. And I just don't understand where it comes from. And then to top that off, the next thing, Derek White is getting mentioned in tweets about his role and what's he done to fuck up and what's he done to contribute towards this. And then a day later, the guy's lost a job, and it's in the Observer that he's already left and he's already been replaced, and there's no communication for the club with regards to that. And this is where, and like I'm not defending the fans, but this is where the club don't help themselves. Now, he was announced when he got his job, so why is that not being communicated that there's been a change? And as I say, I don't know where. All it's taken is for one person to go, head of football operations, it must be your fault because you book the buses and the hotels, so you're obviously contributing towards that. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like there's a right nastiness amongst the support just now. But some fans, and I replied to somebody, and he didn't reply back, but he tweeted saying with this picture, and in the background it was Dundee United players were going in and out of cones and Hibs players weren't they? But any games I've been to, the coach comes out maybe 5 or 10 minutes into the half-time break, and they always do like a wee drill and in and out doing their rondos or whatever. But it's just that kind of stuff. And like Jeff was saying, like these arseholes, they're just everywhere now. I don't know where they're coming from. And we'll win on Sunday. Well, I say we'll win on Sunday. It'll be great. But then all it takes is to go up to Ross County during the week and it'll be back to the fucking same again.
I've had
Sorry.
to,
See, when I
I've
talk
had-
about Hearts, it brings out my football today, so I do apologise for that.
No, you're all right. You're all right. You're in the right place for it.
I've had to change seat again. Obviously, I couldn't get the same seat as last year, Matty, but at the Motherwell game, I was about to throw a guy down the stairs. Honestly, he drove me to walk away and stand downstairs. I just couldn't take the nonsense that was coming out of his mouth, and it wasn't just the one boy. It was three of them at the same time, and it's been going on since the start of the season. I'm like, nah, I've got to shift seat. I can't sit with these nutters. I mean, I'm not quiet in the games. I'll cheer, I'll shout, I'll give my advice from the stands, but signaling out players and the bile that comes out of some of their mouths is just disgusting. So you might see my fat wee face round about the back of you, Matty.
No, that'll be good. That'll be good. I like I said earlier on, like it's self-defeating. These are the guys that you want to go and do well. Like they're playing for you. You shouldn't have. I just didn't get what good comes from hammering them. Jeff, please tell us what you thought about Saturday then. So take the fans out of the equation. What did you think of the game itself?
Yeah, we looked very comfortable. The goal they got was against the run of play. We've covered it. Rudy did lose the ball a lot. I was happy that he was trying stuff, but when you lose it, you try and get it back. But that's enough about Rudy. He's an exciting young prospect. He'll only get better. Goal against the run of play had to be that wee cunt that set it up, but that's another subject. He is one annoying little twat. We came back really well. I don't think we forced our keeper into many saves, apart from Kwon's shot in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
All was well worked. When Gail came on and was playing up front with Big Miko, we looked a lot better. We didn't. The ball wasn't coming back as quick at us when we did lose it. So the problem was we used both our right backs up by then. So Miller and Cannon were off the park. Boyle was playing right wing back, and he was kind of partly responsible for the second goal because he missed his tackle, if you can call it a tackle. Boy just walks past him.
He fell over, didn't he?
Yeah, good goal by Dwight Gale. Shows good quality, just the position he took in the box there. And the good thing about it was people were mentioning about Miko going out and then there was nobody in the box. He laid the ball back for Jordan Obita, who then knocked that perfect ball in. So it can work with two up front. Just if what happens behind them, 3-5-2 or however David Gray. So yeah, we did. We're looking comfortable. Newell. I don't know if anybody heard it at the ground, but the worst checking for a straight yellow for Newell.
Straight red, yeah.
Straight red. People going, and I'm thinking, no chance for getting anything rescinded here.
Did
rescind a second yellow.
I kind of made this point on Sunday. I think with the referee, when it's a second booking, I think the referee should give a straight red, and then VAR can look at it. It solves that problem. Being able to review a yellow card because they can review the red card, tell the referee it's no red card, and he can book him. Or do nothing, if that's the way it goes.
We think about it, it's the same outcome. A player, you're down to 10 men or 9 men, whatever. So if it's the same outcome, surely you should review it the same. The second yellow is the same as a red card. It makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. Some of the second yellows you get, the guy's fake injury to get you sent off, all the usual shit. Anyway, and then when you were sent off, you just knew, kind of inevitable, but Bursic, oh God, that last goal. He'll know himself. Nobody needs to tell him what the players. Yeah. And what I did like was Dwight Gale's interview in one of was it with the Observer or somebody saying the players need to dig themselves out a bit more. You need a bit more, not nicey, just come on, fucking tell it as it is and get stuck in. Interesting to see what he does with the goalkeeper this Sunday.
Do you think David Gray's almost by accident with this 3-5-2? Because I thought we looked good after Cadden went off and we brought Iredale on. 3-5-2 seemed to suit us. Is it maybe kind of found like a happy accident that might, if he sets up that way on Sunday, give us a bit of a chance?
Yeah, I'm happy with 3-5-2. That would give us the defence picks itself if Ardale's the left centre half. Right wing back, is it going to be Miller? Will he pick Boyle again? Left wing back's Obita, Kwon, Triantis, and other in the midfield, and you've got Gale and Miko up front, or Gale and Boyle, or Gale and Ellie Ewan. Why we're not playing Ellie Ewan? I wish I knew what was going on there.
Aye.
He's a game changer, you know. But yeah, I'm happy with 3-5-2. But it doesn't matter what position you play, what formation you play. If your keeper's thrown him in his own net, you could be, you know, you could have played 6-4-0 like fucking Levine did. But you know, I don't know what's going to change. Whether he just needs an absolute outstanding game where he saves us, which I thought he did against Rangers. He had a great save there, and I thought that was
he did, yeah, terrific save.
I've not been totally convinced with him, and my mate at the Dundee game I was with, Eamon, yeah, he was pretty derogatory about Bursic in that game. So we'll see.
On YouTube, we've got a couple of comments come in. So we've got Stevie Coraz says Gale will prove a great signing. He's exactly what we need. Getting him fully up to speed is a must. We all need to be fully behind David Gray. For me, he has at least 2 years in charge. And we will beat Hearts, 100% confident of it. Jay and Sandy said, agree with Andy. What's the point of slagging your team off in the media? Support Hibs, good times and bad. Andy, that's like a few folk that have either agreed with you or said you've talked sense. This is recorded on YouTube if you want to clip it later. If anybody's giving you grief, you've got evidence. Gilky Hibs said, I'm fully behind Gray, but if relegation becomes a reality, then we would be fecking silly not to change before it's too late. End of this season's a real clear out begins. Ian Tockel says, cabbage do. Colin said, Matthew, in the subject of shite fans, mind the boys that sat behind us in the League Cup game versus Aberdeen, the Malonga game. I tell you what, we had a couple of boys sat behind us that game who were like, it's like they thought they were on Monday Night Football on Sky Sports, but without having a fucking clue about football. And it was horrendous, and you could see everybody around about in the area. Came when folks start turning around and tutting and giving them daggers. And I think they realised that like at half time they never reappeared again for the second half. And it was probably one of my favourite moments that I've had at Easter Road, just the fact that we had that second half in peace for the buggers. Right, let's look ahead to
Can I ask a quick question?
Aye, of course you can.
Where did they get the 9.5 minutes of injury time?
It's a good question. So there was the VAR review for their offside, which went on for the offside goal. That was probably the longest stoppage. Both teams had used other subs, but that doesn't normally make. Well, it was 8 minutes that they put up and then ended up playing
8 minutes. Yeah,
10.
Yeah.
I don't know where the rest of it came from though. Like I couldn't remember any big injuries, but Newell's red card as well. So you're getting red carded to check for that, and then the offside. So two fairly long VAR checks.
Right.
But I don't remember the rest that would have come from. Right, Sunday, Callum, you start us off. How is it going to go on Sunday? Did they go for it? Did they give us a score prediction yet? Just tell us how you think Hibs can win.
Oh, I've no idea kind of what lineup we're going to be. Whether it's 3-5-2, I know it's going to be who's available, kind of dependent on that. I think Triantis is going to be really important because one thing I noticed on Saturday, somebody already mentioned about players coming short. Kwon, that's not really his game, but Triantis will come, take the ball, turn, make things happen. I think it's going to be a horrible game. I think a horrible game is going to suit us. But I don't know what the lineup's going to be given that collapse on Saturday.
And do you fancy?
Do I fancy us?
Aye.
Always.
Good. Right. Well, have a wee think about the score prediction. I'll come back and we'll get that before we wrap up. Joe, same question to you then. What do you think David Gray needs to do to set us up to win on Sunday?
I think we need to drop Miko. I would definitely play a different front two. And I think we need to drop the goalkeeper. I don't think he will do that, by the way, but that's what I think. But I think playing 3-5-2 is the way forward with what we've got available just now.
But and you mentioned at the start, you said Hoylett and Gale as your forward
yes,
two, didn't you?
yes.
Yeah.
Two very experienced strikers, and this situation needs experience.
You wonder if you've ever had a goalie so bad they've dropped themselves, eh? if we're heading that way. Ian,
our most experienced players. So we've got better players than Hearts. So Hoylett, Gale, we've got to play them. We've got to play. As far as I'm concerned, Boyle's got to be in right from the start, and because Hearts can't stand him, right? And our most experienced players are definitely good enough to beat Hearts. We've been playing very well in the past. 3 games we played really well, and I think we've got the ability to beat Hearts as long as we play our most experienced players. Unfortunately, that means Rudy's on the bench and Kukarevich is got to be benched because he's ineffective. So Nicky Cadden coming in on the left. I think we've got a very good chance, and we've got tough, experienced players.
What's the biggest thing, or the main thing we need to improve on to give ourselves the best chance?
Not just any fuck up at the end. I mean, that's it. We've been playing really well. I mean, we gave Rangers a really good game at Ibrox. That's the best, one of the best I've seen us play against Rangers at Ibrox. We were all over Motherwell. Motherwell's head coach agreed that, as the United's head coach. So therefore, we have got the beating of these types of teams. Hearts are down there for a reason, and we've got better players in them. And I think that our players will be fired up, and I think they'll win.
The point you make there about Hearts being down there is, I kind of had a couple of good results, but it's important to remember that they have been shite this season as well. Like we've been bad, but they have also. Colin made the point about them being worse than us in points per game. So if COVID hit again just now, it would be them that went down rather than us. So everybody gets sneezing.
Yeah, I like Colin's logic there. That Hearts are actually bottom of the league, really. Yeah.
Aye. Jack, you'll be at the game obviously on Sunday.
Yeah.
If you're David Gray, what are you saying to the team in the dressing room before they go out?
Well, I mean, I would definitely drop the number 1 goalkeeper. I'd probably put Alex Borick in because I've never seen him play in a while. And I'd definitely have Hoylett and Gale up front and start Boyle for the beginning because he annoys Hearts in many ways.
Boric has played a derby before, didn't he? He come on? I can't remember if he came off the bench or if he started.
The 2-2 game last season.
Aye. So he's no a stranger to it.
Aye, at Tynecastle. Now I remember. Aye.
What would your team talk be, Jack?
I have no idea. That's
just a shrug of the shoulders, eh?
Get Jack to do the team talk.
No, didn't get me to do that. Oh no!
I think Eddie Turnbull's half-time talk when Hibs were 5-0 up in a 7-0 game. He was in the bar most of the time, and just before the team went out, he said his team talk was, "I want you to go out there and grind the bastards into the ground."
Yes, a little bit of that.
Yeah, that's what we need to.
Jeff, how about you? What do you think needs to happen for David Gray to set the team up to win on Sunday?
I think whichever formation we go with, just don't make any mistakes. I might start off with 4-4, whatever it is, 4-2-3, whatever we're playing, which seems to work, but it leaves us a bit short up front. But just make sure we don't lose any early goals, and then go 3-5-2 and go for it second half.
I wish you say 4-4-2-3. That definitely gives us a better chance.
Yeah, the main problem, and I think everybody's mentioned it about the goalkeeper. What does he do? Nobody knows what he's going to do. I presume he's made his mind up about who's going to be number 1 on Sunday. And if it's Bursic, please let everybody get behind him and not groan if he kicks him out of touch, or we've just got to get behind the team. Remember who we're playing? I was at the 7-0 game. And yeah, happy memories. I thought that was going to be it like that all, for the rest of my life. How young was I? Felt like getting married.
There was loads of footage this week because it was the 24th anniversary of 6-2 as well.
6-2, yeah, was there.
Fucking it'll be 24 years since that. And Andy, we'll get to you. Callum's got his hand up, so we'll come to Callum first, and then Andy, I'll get your thoughts on Sunday.
I was just thinking about the team, and it's something that I think you guys mentioned on the regular podcast, that when you predict a lineup for a weekend, 9, 10, 11 players, you tend to get right. He's been fairly loyal with the squads that he's picked so far. And I just wondered, and it's probably a question to everybody here, about, do you think Big Rocky should be given a chance? Because the mistakes that the back line have made, I don't think maybe he made one mistake all of last season that contributed to a goal. And it's a question that's been getting asked recently, is why not? What is it is he just not comfortable with him playing at all? But I just don't see what the issue would be in giving the big man a chance, because for the majority of last season, as all bar one, I appreciate it was maybe in a derby right enough, but the big man's solid, and certainly what you get with him is 100%. He'll attack everything.
What do you think, folks? Rocky, a potential starter? Jack, you're shaking your head. Why would you not play Rocky?
Well, after seeing what he done in the last Edinburgh derby, I don't think I'd start him.
Yeah, in a 3-5-2, you could play Rocky. Have him as the right centre half.
Yeah.
You talk about the last derby, he made one mistake in the last minute.
Yeah, that's right.
There was still a lot for Shankland to do. Fish didn't cover himself in glory either.
No.
He got a lot tighter. So yeah, he does make mistakes, and he made a mistake at Ross County when we were in the bottom 6 last year. He does make mistakes, but who doesn't?
Me. No, obviously I do. Right, Andy, if you tell us what you think David Gray needs to do to win, and then if you round up with a score prediction, then I'll go around to everybody else and get score predictions as we wrap up.
I just think he's got to keep it solid at the back and make sure the midfield are working as hard as they possibly can. Because, they're all right, they might not be, they're firing on all cylinders at the minute, but they've 6 return, if you know what I mean. So they look like they've got the manager bounce. We need to keep the back door shut, because if you didn't lose a goal, you kind of get beat. So that would be your main aim. Even if we get out Easter Road with a draw, I would take a draw now, but we need a win. We need to beat them for fucking everything on the planet at the minute. We need to fucking beat the bastards. But I mean, I don't think that formation really matters in a derby too much. All right, that's your basis, but the blood and thunder that you get at derbies is always, there's always going to be a mistake somewhere. There's going to be a stupid bounce. There's going to be mad tackles. There's going to be everything like it normally is. So who comes out the fight, the better. And I just hope it's us. Just drill it into them. We can't get beat. We cannot get beat. Because like many of your podcasts, Hearts, like Colin said at playtime, Hearts it's drilled into Hearts. They didn't beat us. They didn't beat us. And that's their whole ethos. Just win against Hibs. That's all they want in a season. Four wins or whatever they desire. And that mentality shift that we probably need is to get one up on them every time we play them. I mean, David Gray's probably got a decent record against the Hearts. So if you can draw any inspiration for his own experience and relate it to some of the newcomers and obviously the other ones that have played in the derbies before, just to drill it into everybody and drum it into them. We cannot be beat with these lot. Well, one, if we beat them, we go above them. So that should be a big enough incentive anyway. But as far as who I would play, I think Gale has to start with Boiler, definitely in the starting lineup as well. Just gives you a wee bit more pace as well, because they're not a fast back line. So, I mean, Gale looks sharp as attack. I know Miko's misfiring, but he causes problems anyway. So if he's going to come on, or if he starts, he's got the ability. He just needs to find it. And this might be the game. This might be the game that opens up his league account, because he has been unlucky in the past, where obviously offsides that were never offsides, and because he will find the net, but he needs to do it on a more prolific scenario. But my prediction, I just hope we beat them with 2 goals, 2 clear goals, so we go above them.
Aye.
Even on goal difference.
It'd be nice for it to be a comfortable one, eh? Like where you're sitting kind of just shiting your pants for the last like sort of 10 minutes of the game. Just be like a nice wee buffer that you can. We're all right here. Jeff, what were you? What's your score prediction?
I always predict the Hibs win, so I'll go 2-1 Hibs as usual. But a lot of what's been said already is just, when I used to coach the youngsters, I used to say first tackle is so important. You put your stamp on the game, whoever you're marking. Just make sure we don't lose the battle. If we win the battle, we should win the game if we don't make mistakes. We've got a bigger, I think we're possibly the first time in a while we'll have a bigger side than Hearts if we pick the usual suspects. And they are susceptible to cross balls. We saw that against Motherwell, against other teams. So, yeah, 2-1. Who starts? Again, I don't know. I'd probably play Miko and Gale up front in a 3-5-2. I know it leaves us short on the bench for another centre forward, but you've got McCurdy or Ellie Ewan can play through the middle. Yeah, just go for it.
Cool. Jack, score prediction?
2-1 Hibs.
Solid 2-1 Hibs. What about you, Ian?
I would play Bursick because I don't think it's the right time to change the keeper. I would play Miller or Iredale if Miller's injured. Abita, Ekpiteta, O'Hara, Boyle, Kwon, Triantis, Nicky Cadden, Dwight Gale, Junior Hoylett, and I think we'll win 2-0.
Happy days. Joe, got a score prediction?
Would you rather I was honest or would you rather I was polite?
No, I'll be honest. We'll always go for honesty.
I think the score will be Hibs 2, Hearts 3. I'm going to break a long bangers tradition this season and predict Hibs will get beat, sadly.
Now that's all right, because now when they try to slag us off for being delusional, like if we lose, we can go, no, we weren't. Look, we predicted a defeat as well, so I'm all right with that. Callum, last word to you then. What's the score going to be?
Head over heart. I think it'll be a score draw.
Fair enough. I'll take a score draw there now, I think. Right, that's us. We're out of time. We will be back tomorrow with me, Colin, and John with our preview show. So if you've got an idea of what you think the starting lineup is, you can tweet us. We use the Fan Hub app to get the wee team, and you can share it. So if you want a wee shareable graphic for Twitter, we can put them up on the screen if we get some good ones in. So look out for that. It's only on YouTube, and we'll be there, and then we'll be back on Sunday with a post-derby long bangers, and hopefully it's a positive one. So thanks for tuning in, guys, everybody, for coming on. Thanks very much. And